Amar Hall out of Groove City. Big Montrose Cephas rolling with us. Big DJ Mac Robinson. Young Easy rolling with us, and that whole Soul Raspy crew running with us right now. Let me see. Bruce Annals rolling with us. Uncle Nitty rocking with us, Donni-Oh.
Right.
Uncle Nitty, pull up, man.
My man,
doing,
come on, man. Stop playing, man. Get back in that booth, baby.
Exactly. You know, Daniel Taylor in Philly rocking with us right now. Miss Romaine out of Caroline County rolling with us. Mr. Yolanda Park out of Bmore checking in with us right now. Big Eddie Harmon, and that's his inspiration. Harvey Bull. So we pulling up in every hood right now, Donni-Oh.
Word up, word up. That's what it is. That's what it is. We're gonna jump into the real quick. Hold tight. We're gonna do this real quick.
Donni-Oh and J-Mo, keeping the streets informed. It's Yours Radio, live 97.5, everything urban.
You know, we got to parlay in the streets real quick. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things happening. As we mentioned, a lot of music. You've heard it. A lot of music. New Gangstar coming out on Friday. And we just had the new Kanye joint just dropped this past Friday. Beck, you get a chance to check it out yet?
I did. I got a chance to check the album out. I haven't had a chance to really sit with the album yet. You know what I mean? Just a quick listen. But from what I heard, you know, it's yay.
Yeah.
It's yay. It's a different feel because it is a gospel album. But you know, once I dissect it and really sit with it, I think the track that I play the most is Water and the joint with the clips. And Kenny G smashed.
Yeah.
Kenny G killed.
For sure. I think just anyway. Jay, did you get to hear it?
Nah, I ain't checked it out.
Check it out yet?
No.
Okay.
The joints I just heard, that was dope.
Yeah,
definitely.
Those are two of my favorite joints. Again, that was Kenny G joint, one of them, and another joint was the joint with Pusha T, or Clips. But it's real quick with Ye. He was trending heavy on Twitter and Facebook, as he always does when he drops. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you know him doing the Sunday service. He was just at Howard University, just in D.C. a couple weeks ago. Caught some flack for saying next time we gather together, make sure we all don't get caught by the net if the slave masters come by. right. And he says stuff like this, but you know what's crazy? And people says, that Ye is crazy and he's lost his mind and he's off his meds. But think about it. Just really think, if we really rewind it back and really take it in as a whole, this has always been Ye.
Facts.
It's always been him.
We applauded him for when he was doing it, when it benefited.
Right.
What we like, but we're living in cancel culture now.
Yeah.
So everybody is so quick to cancel somebody.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what they say or what, you know, whatever he may be going through at the time, I think they just cancel him and write him off. And then if he comes back with a record that everybody likes, we kind of forget about it.
Right.
And so now what I hear everybody talking about is the fact that he's doing gospel music and it's not. I get it, but nobody can sit here and say what's in that man's heart.
Facts.
Right.
If he found God, who is any of us to say it's a gimmick or it's a, you know, I mean, Ye is known for his gimmicks and the things that he does.
Yeah.
But when it comes to God, like, who can compete with that?
Right.
Like nobody can really say like what he really found or
how he feels. It's funny you asked that. You bring that up because I was going to ask both of you. Is this another Mace situation, Jay? You think?
Man, I think these church folk, number one, need to stop labeling what's gospel and what's not. It's a different time. Everybody don't want to hear these church hymns and all that. Ain't nobody want these church hymns. It's a different time. You know what I mean? They reaching a different demographic now.
Right.
You know, and the church hymns just don't do it. They don't do it for me, for real.
And here's the thing.
I had that whole just before you go back. I had that conversation with Eddie Harmon a few weeks ago.
Yo, my man, come here. Look at God.
Eddie Harmon,
come to the light, brother.
Oh man.
So look, you remember a few weeks ago, we had a conversation. I said, I don't like gospel. And then you was about to hang me. But I said, hold on, brother. Let me clarify that. And I would say I didn't like the old hymnal gospel, right? Okay. And that's what J-Mo was talking about. We was talking about Kanye. and people not label. They said, "Oh, that's not gospel. That's not traditional. Whatever. That's not what we're used to." So Jay was saying, you got to find another way to reach the younger demographic in particular. And if Kanye can do it, he can do it. But I said to Jay, is this another Mace where, okay, he's going to go on through something, because you know how it is. People run to the church when they're going through something, and whatever, and then they leave. Everything when the smoke clears, then they go right back out there. And now to Devon's point, we can't be the ones to judge that,
right,
and say what's in that man's heart. Right. You know what I'm saying? However, we can also have our own opinions and ask questions. Right.
Right.
So my thing is, okay, do you feel like it's sincere or not?
Well, judgment and opinion is two different things.
Exactly. And please, thank you. Please, my goodness, man.
Folk,
right.
You have to put it in this perspective. Church folk is church folk. Christians is Christians.
Now, for those who don't know the difference, clarify the difference for those who don't know the difference between church folks.
When they say Christians, the definition of Christian is to be Christ-like.
Right.
Church folk is just folk to say they like church.
Every Sunday.
I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Right.
You know, and then a lot of folk that call themselves Christians shouldn't even call themselves that, because they're not really Christ-like in a lot of things that we do. Because actually, when you get to the point where you judge everybody for everything that you don't like, you are missing God anyway.
Right.
So you're coming against Christ anyway for your beliefs. So now the Kanye thing, you got to understand, Kanye been doing this thing. Now I've been one of the ones that's watching and wondering if it's real. I got the album too. There's some good stuff on that.
Okay.
Now I'm with you. We're living in a different generation, a different time.
Right.
So I've been saying the same thing on my gospel show. You're not gonna reach the kind of community we're reaching off of the hymnals.
Facts.
Right. Now the hymnals is for, and Rough Side of the Mountain, that's for the ones that 60 and 70 years old. Thank God for you. It worked for them. But we living in a terrible generation that don't want to hear that.
Right.
Facts.
But you can take the same beats that y'all got with y'all's music and reach that new generation, because you know what? It's not the lyrical content didn't change. It's the beat that draws them in. So I'm with the new time and the new music and all. And then when I was younger, where I was at, they taught against listening to hip hop and gospel rap. And then I end up going to a convention of youth. You got 10,000 youth in there jumping off the music that they say was wrong to listen to.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, I tell you, I think me and Eddie had a conversation when I first went out with Kirk Franklin, and we showed up at venues, and we had people out there with picket signs and all of that, saying this ain't you destroying God's music. You name it. You know what I'm saying?
And
you know, but at the same time, we filling up a venue with 15,000 people now, though.
Matter of fact, no artist but Kirk can cross over gospel and secular lines and have the same message and get the same following.
That's fact.
He's the only gospel or let's say Christian artist that is doing that.
That's facts.
The only artist.
That's facts.
And can make that money to back it up.
Every single venue, the quote unquote church folk was out there with the sign. This ain't real gospel music.
How you
destroying God? How you know? That's where I'm at.
How you know?
And that's what I was about to say.
It's something to somebody.
Yeah, and how do you determine what's real and what's not? Do you go by the sound? Do you go by the content? Or what do you go by?
You see, at the end of the day, this is the problem. And I've been working on this for the last 3 or 4 weeks on the radio station, or let's say months. The problem is, the Lord says, the Bible speaks that the Lord will use a rock to cry out for him. So that means that's not even a human being.
Right.
So that means as long as his praise go out, that's all he's concerned about. Who cares about the beat? Long as the message is that Jesus saves, that Jesus is real. That's it. All right. 60 years ago, you had Thomas Dorsey. He came up with his song, the old school songs. They said, he missed God because it wasn't what they were used to before he came out. Walter Hawkins came out with his old music.
Right.
Then they said he really missed God.
When you say miss, what do you mean?
Because the music had changed from generation to generation. So because it wasn't the same thing they were brought up on, the first thing come out their mouth is that he's missing God.
Okay. They did the same thing with Kirk Franklin.
Same thing with Kirk Franklin, all right?
Right.
And then you had after the Hawkins, you had the Winans.
Right.
Commission. Then it goes up. The Tide Tributes. So Kirk Franklin, everybody don't understand, Kirk Franklin been had 30 years now. 30 years.
30 years. Facts.
30 years.
Facts.
He went through the same thing. Now you got all the new generation. So the music has changed. Gospel has changed non-stop for the last 60 to 70 years. So because it was your grandmama's way of learning God, don't mean it was the right way.
Yeah.
As long as the message is the same and it's still biblical, that's all that counts. It's the content, not the beat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you need that beat right now for the young generation.
You better have
You
it.
need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matter of fact, I don't want to hear no slow music right now.
You want to turn up, Rev?
I want some 808 beats.
You want to turn up?
Yeah.
You want to turn up?
I feel like at the end of the day, Ye had a generation of people who probably wouldn't primarily listen to gospel music, listen to a gospel album.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't really matter if you really for people getting the word of Christ or whatever. Like it shouldn't matter how they get it if they're getting it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? We can't judge that man for that. And like I said before, we don't know what's in his heart. It
Right.
can be a money thing, but it's a lot of people in the church name for money.
But guess what though? It's ministers in there for money.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we talk about a man that made $150 million last year. Came up off of tennis shoes.
Yeah.
150. So I don't even really think it's about the money with him at this point.
2 years ago did the same thing, right?
Say it again. Go ahead.
2 years ago, you had another artist do the same thing, and the #1 gospel award show is the Stellar Award. He won the best gospel album in the country.
Who's that?
Snoop Dogg.
Okay, yeah,
The dog.
Yeah.
The dog
Same
did it.
thing. He did the same thing.
Mhm.
So Kanye got this thing called Sunday Best, right? Sunday service.
Mhm.
He's been traveling for the last 6 months,
Mhm.
all over church to church to church, doing this setup for that album.
Yeah, and see, he's a marketing genius.
He's a genius in marketing.
And see,
That's what it is.
I touched on it a little bit earlier, and Devon kind of touched on it too when we were talking about Kanye, because of sometimes he does these irrational things, like the rant when he went up on stage, about J and B, when the Taylor Swift thing, and you know what I'm saying, and even back when George Bush don't like black people, but like Beck said, when it's something that we cool with, yay, you know what I'm saying, but then he supports Donald Trump, then it's like, oh, this cat done lost his mind or whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, I had 2 close homies, one in particular. I thought my homie, but because we had some political differences, I haven't talked to this dude since Trump got elected. There's no
What are you in the feeling? What are you in the feeling?
Yeah, but listen, the thing about it is, I didn't think it was that serious. I said how I felt about Trump and whatever, but it's just political, and that's the end of it. You know what I'm saying? You still my man. You still my man.
Some people can't see past that. It's weird.
Nah.
But the thing is, he was a die-hard Obama supporter. He had a great, big, huge framed picture of the Obama family on his wall. What? Yeah.
But he's for Trump?
But then all of a sudden he just started dissing the heck out of Obama. And I understand, because there's a lot of things that didn't happen that we expected from Obama. Okay. But if you know the political landscape, there's a lot of things that he couldn't get done.
Right.
Because of, the Republicans were running things. You know what I'm saying? So House and Senate, yeah. Now I understand, like, and he and I had this thing, like, okay, his first term, he had the House and the Senate on his side, but he could have done more with that. But he was really trying to push the health care. You know what I'm saying? And I said, yeah, he could have done that, and he's done some other things too, like and he got the the cocaine, the crack disparity, the ratio. He got that down because it was 100 to 1.
Right.
Crack the cocaine, he got it down to 16 to 1. Now he wanted it 1 to 1, but that wasn't gonna happen. But he got it as close as he could.
Right.
Now we don't hear nothing about that, but all we hear is healthcare, and you didn't hear about the the stem package he gave to the banks to get things back rolling again. Yeah, the car companies and all that, right?
GM, yeah.
Osama bin Laden, and all that. But you see Trump today touting about the ISIS leader. You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, right. So, but whenever Obama was trying to do something, there was so many obstacles. You had more people get into the White House than ever. You know what I'm saying? You had people actually getting inside the White House.
That's right.
Can you close it?
Right.
Yeah. So it was just a situation now where you look at me and him, and it's like, okay, now I understand, he didn't do things that you expect him to do, and he didn't do it.
Right.
But it's not worth losing the friendship over. I didn't think
he can't ostracise somebody for that.
Nah.
Like it's bigger than, like, politics is just that, politics.
Exactly. And so my thing, and
we'll never know the ins and outs of everything that really goes on. And that's my biggest thing with politics. Like, I don't understand it. And that's with anything. If I don't really understand what's going on, I'm like, no.
back.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're not gonna lie to me about it because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man.
And I ain't gonna front. You know, when Kanye was first going through his thing, meeting with Trump and all that, and he had the blonde hair and all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this man lost his mind. You know what I'm saying? But then I was like, okay, I kind of stepped back and was like, wait a minute. He ain't really doing nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? He's just kind of doing what he's done before. He just flipped sides.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he's entitled. People are entitled to change how they feel. Now, I don't agree with him. I don't agree with none of that stuff. But I'm not going to sit here and say he's crazy because he changed his mind.
But here's another thing. If you think about how many rappers referenced Trump before he was a president.
Goodness, yeah.
Think about this.
Yeah.
You always heard rappers reference Trump.
Right.
They wanted to be as rich as Trump, or I'm at Trump Towers, and you understand what I'm saying? And so now that he's in the position he's in, everybody just like flip-flop, you know, and it's like, I'm not saying, and I'm not for Trump because I feel like he don't like black people.
No, he definitely
you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
I
done
feel like in
what
no way, shape, or form am I for Trump.
Yeah.
But I understand people wanting to work, I guess, as far as to put their say in to how to change things for us. Because I mean, he is the president. I mean, that's just a fact. You know what I mean? We can't do anything about that. But as soon as somebody meet with, because they did the same thing to Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey met. Why he meeting with? Like who?
Yeah.
I mean, he's the president.
Steve Harvey a coon though. For real.
But you see what I'm saying? No, but you see what I'm saying? Though? Like as a black community, as soon as somebody black do something we don't like, oh man, man, that's it.
Yeah.
And we can't do that.
And just think about it. Us, if our lives were in the media throughout our, I don't know, early 20s or late teens, early 20s, how would we be looked at?
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
You got to realize, because we don't have a microscope on our lives. So we do things under the radar. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine that. So yeah, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to do some things like, man, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, we all could think things that we, you know what I'm saying? But these cats are under the microscope doing it. You know what I'm saying?
But if you think about it too, you know how the basketball players, when they told them to, you know, like just shut up and play, or whatever.
Yeah.
So look at Kanye in this same scope. So you don't want Kanye to say nothing?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So if he had all the money, the same way they talk about Jordan, I don't know Jordan personally, but you know, he got all this money, he don't really do nothing. So it's like either way you're wrong.
Right.
If you talk too much.
Right.
If you don't talk, you're not talking enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're doing gospel. Oh man, why are you doing gospel? Why ain't you like, you know, so
well, you know, and you know, J-Mo, you know, Beck, you know, Eddie, everybody, Cheese, y'all know, black folks are never, we never satisfied. We always got to find something to argue about.
I love y'all.
Always got to
get on my nerves.
Facts. That's the fact. Yeah.
And I can say that because I'm black. Yeah, and we can all say that because we black.
Right.
But we all know because we're in this culture and we know, like, we can get on each other's nerves.
Yeah.
For real. Because we always look for something to be mad about. Because you can jump on Facebook. I'll be like, what y'all mad about today?
Right.
What are y'all mad about today?
Right.
You know, and
my
we
baby
our
daddy,
attention span,
somebody, you know?
our attention span with things is never long enough. Like, because I was looking at something, I jumped on everybody talking about what Pastor Wilson or something. I don't know what that was.
I thought the dude was some groove. Man, I heard so many people on there from Cambridge talking about this.
You understand what I'm saying, though?
I know y'all gonna talk about the pastor, but listen, man.
We talked about pastor last week.
I know you did, but you know what? You think about it. They try to make it as a negative, but listen, I promise you, that brother gained more members.
Oh. Hey, you right
that
about
wasn't the first lady though. That was not the first lady though. I know the first lady wasn't filming that.
No,
you know, but
No.
I don't think that.
I don't think first
Pastor
lady.
say he was getting in it.
But you see what I'm saying. But you see how quickly we flip flop to certain things, and I promise you, something else will happen, and they'll forget all about Kanye.
And be on to the next.
And Kanye will make a song that everybody loves. All will be forgotten.